I'm back with my Disney Rewatch number 2, and this time we're on Pinocchio. This movie came out in 1940, and it's Disney Animation's second movie, so it was the next one on my rewatch. Here's my thoughts. The first thing I noticed was that this movie opens up with a book opening, just like Snow White did, and I don't remember this really happening in other movies, so I'm wondering at what point do those movies stop opening books as kind of like the start of the movie, because it's basically saying we're reading the story from a book. It's now animated, and I thought that was a cool little touch, but I wonder how long or how much more this will continue. Now, the Blue Fairy, she just seems a little overpowered in this movie. I mean, if you think about it, she can just create life out of inanimate objects, which is pretty cool, I'd say, but I wanted just to mention that seems a little overpowered. Now, Jiminy Cricket, he might be my favorite character out of this movie. He was dropping truth bombs everywhere when he was talking to Pinocchio about how he was his conscience, talking about temptation and going to school is better than just trying to find fame and success. And I just really related to Jiminy, probably because I'm a teacher, because I feel like I'm constantly having that battle with my students saying, no, stay in school, learn about this. This is what's gonna propel you in life. Instead of just trying to chase fame or TikTok success and all that stuff. So I really related to Jiminy. I have to say, I really love the scene when Pinocchio came to life and he was dancing with Geppetto and Figaro and Cleo. And I also got to mention Figaro and Cleo. I love those pets. They are so funny in this movie. And I love how they're kind of friends. And it looks like Cleo's in love with Figaro. I don't really know what's happening there. But I thought that was just a really cool scene once Pinocchio comes to life. Them just really happy, and Geppetto just seems like his life is fulfilled at that point. And now we get to Pinocchio walking to school, and I thought that was really interesting. Like, Geppetto gets this son. He finally has a son, and the first morning he goes, you gotta go to school, get out of here. And I'm just kind of confused on, like, just sending him to school. Does Pinocchio really even know what school is? Does he know what he's supposed to do there? And letting him walk there by himself just seemed crazy. As like a new father, how do you just do that with your new son? But anyway, I loved the town. The town really was giving me Fantasyland vibes from Disneyland, and I don't know if that's a coincidence, if they designed Fantasyland off of this village that Pinocchio's at, but it really reminded me, because I was just there a couple weeks ago at Disneyland, it really reminded me of Fantasyland, so I thought that was a cool touch. And now we get to this guy, Honest John, and I don't remember the other cat's name, I can't even recall it at this point. But we get to these two guys, these mischievous guys. Honest John is sly like a fox. That's probably why he's a fox. And this is where the real plot starts to come. And I gotta say, I really enjoyed this movie compared to Snow White. I felt like Snow White didn't really have like a complex plot, but this was definitely a step in the right direction with their second movie. And I loved when these two guys came in because it just meant trouble was coming. But I do have a question now, because we have Geppetto, who's human. He's got the two pets. He's got Cleo, he's got Figaro, who are animals. They can't talk. But then these two guys are able to talk, and they're walking, and they're thinking, and they're doing all these things. So I'm really confused on this like universe that's set up in Pinocchio, where some animals apparently can talk and some can't. It's just interesting. And of course, like I mentioned earlier, they seduce Pinocchio with this idea of fame, and that is just so relevant to kids today, which is wild, because 1940, we're in 2023, that's over 80 years ago, and that's still relevant. My students, I feel like, are just so concerned with going viral on YouTube and TikTok and just getting that success from there. And so it was kind of interesting to see that those parallels still existed in 1940. Pinocchio wanted to be an actor, he wants to be famous, and Honest John says he's gonna get him there, so he follows blindly. Man, my man Jiminy here was trying so hard to not have Pinocchio go, and he was trying to convince him. But Pinocchio just wants that fame and success and goes on over with Honest John to Stromboli's. And I love this line that Jiminy dropped. He said, what does an actor need with a conscience anyway? And it's just so sad. Again, I really relate to Jiminy as a teacher. You try to lead kids the right way, and they make their own decisions, and they're gonna have to learn from their own mistakes. All right, so at this point, this is when the movie kind of takes that weird turn, as I'm assuming most of these old Disney movies will, where some inappropriate scenes and objects and things are in the movie that just would not fly by today's standards. So first there gotta be like these can-can dancers that are these the can-can puppets, and they're doing this show, and I think at one point it's Jiminy, he puts his glasses so he can look closer, and it's like, whoa, like that's just so inappropriate in a kid's movie. You would not see that today. And then Pleasure Island, can we talk about how Pinocchio is basically human trafficked by Honest John and that other guy. It was just wild how they're basically human trafficking all these little boys to Pleasure Island because they need them to be donkeys, which I'm going to get into in a bit. But yeah, wild. I did not see that turn coming here on Pinocchio. Go from this cute, oh, the puppet's a boy now. Okay, oh, maybe he wants to be an actor, so he's doing the singing and dancing thing. But then it just goes, boom, human trafficking. So crazy that they still addressed that in 1940. And I can't forget, man, Geppetto over here going so frantic. He's lost his son. It's literally like less than 24 hours since he's had his son. But again, I might say that it's a little his fault for letting his son walk to school by himself on the first day that he's alive. That just doesn't really make sense to me. But yeah, I just really felt bad for Geppetto. He can't even have his son for 24 hours. I mean, come on. Tobacco for the kids. They're drinking beer, apparently. It's not appropriate for 2023 at all. And then let's talk about them drinking that beer, because apparently that's what, from what I gathered from the movie, that's what turns them into the donkeys. So now I have a theory, and I'm not sure if anyone else has thought about this. It might already be floating out on the internet, but it's what came to me when I saw this movie. So Honest John and that other cat guy, they're walking, talking animals. Were they humans before? And did they drink the same beer thing that Pinocchio and the kids are drinking that turns them into donkeys? Like, were they actually guys and they drank it on accident and maybe slowly turned into that fox and cat character, but then stopped so they were able to retain their consciousness? I don't know. I'm just super... That's the theory that I'm getting, because in this movie, there's no other talking animals besides Pinocchio and the boy. As they turn into donkeys, they were still able to talk for a bit. So that's my theory. I'm thinking that Honest John and this cat were human, and that they were slowly turned into that by drinking that same beer. I don't know, though. What do you guys think? And Monstro the Whale, that was just a great ending to the movie. I thought it was so good. I really would have liked to probably have seen Geppetto get captured by Monstro. I don't know if they even made that scene. But the ending was was great. It was way more action than I think Snow White had. Their second movie was so good. So yeah, great ending. So with every movie, I also want to talk about my favorite song from the movie. So for Pinocchio, it's got to be When You Wish Upon a Star. I mean, it doesn't get more classic than that Disney song. So that's got to be my favorite song from this movie. And for Pinocchio, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really great. So I'm actually going to give this one an 8 out of 10. So I put it a little higher than Snow White. I gave Snow White 7 out of 10. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this movie. So it looks like up next is going to be Fantasia. But I wanted to ask you guys, should I count this movie in my rewatch? Because it's not, I mean, from what I remember, it's not really like a movie. It's really just, little shorts set to music. So should I skip this movie and go on to The Reluctant Dragon? I'm actually going to let you guys decide. So you tell me, what should be my next movie on the rewatch? Should I be complete and do every single Disney animated movie? Or should I maybe take out the ones, kind of like I said, Fantasia is not really, from what I remember, a real movie with a plot. But you guys decide. Let me know.